Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Just unhitching the cedar here a second. Before I go any further, the question that I'm asking for this week is, let me just go in here, which field do you want me to buy? Do you want me to buy field 2 up here or field 20 down here? Now the reason I'm asking is because I am going to be, I thought it would be quite good to be able to do a bit of road work. So whether we get that field there, or that field up there, we're going to have to do some road travel. Now, that one there shouldn't be too difficult to get to. I'm not quite sure how you get into that one. I think it's down here. I think you've got to go through these little lanes here to get to there. Or we got this one on here, which is a bit more of a logistics problem. So it could make it quite interesting, especially as we've got all our machinery on this end of the map. So we'd have to take it all the way up there. So do you want field 2 or do you want field 20? Now, my potatoes are planting. I've got the hired help working on that one now. And I was going to get started on the Krone and do a bit of fertilizer, and then we get started on the Krone Beast, Big X, massive, fantastic machine. And I am really, really looking forward to that one. But I thought before we do that, I will take this one over and we will plant rye, because it did look like we could actually plant rye with this one without completely crashing our game, which was something I was a bit concerned about previously. But it does appear that we can actually do it. So I'm going to attempt it, because I did read somewhere that you've got to have a special seeder to be able to add rye into it. I'm not sure where I read that, but anyway, it appears that you don't. It appears that we can use this one. We will just have to see what happens. So that's what we're going to try and do today. I think in the last episode I was about to tell you what a chap called... I can't read my own writing. It's M Mierks, something like that. Mierks. That's his username. He was telling me that he has actually done sunflower harvest in real life, which is absolutely fascinating. Because obviously I have never ever done anything to do with sunflower harvesting in any way. And he said he used to work. I don't know if he still does, but he used to do custom cutting, which is what I believe is what you call contracting in the United States, or at least contracting with a combine. So custom cutting is doing contracting for other farmers, but at harvest time. So they used to do contracting, or custom cutting, as he called it, for... Hang on, I need to go... Do I go in this one? Or do I go on a bit further? I don't even know how to get into this field. How did I get into this field? Well, I tried to go in there, didn't I? I'm just going to assume that we have to go into this one, and that we go up the top and get in. I still have no idea. I've not actually been over here and checked it out beforehand, which I probably should have done. But anyway, the custom cutting of the sunflowers, he said, is absolutely awful because they're really, really oily. Now, these plants are used for the same thing that oilseed rape is used for, or canola, as some of you know it. It's an oil crop, and it is used to right, we can't go through there, can we? No. Yeah, so it's an oil crop, and it's used for making vegetable oil. And so, well, oilseed rape is used for vegetable oil, and you'll see on the list of ingredients, it's mostly, in some countries it's listed as OSR, and some countries it's listed as canola. Depending on the country of manufacture, will sort of decide what is written on your list. Now, is there an actual lane to get through into this field, or am I just going to drive around in a circle? We need to zoom out a bit so I can have a look. Ah, I see. We've got a little pad up here next to we got the windmill over there. I think that's an egg cell point, actually. Oh, there's a play park. We have to go on the swings. Okay, I'm going on the swings in a bit. Now, we are going to plant rye in this field here. We'll just go around the edge to start with, I think. I can hear something. Is that the windmill that I can hear? Or is it the beach? Oh, maybe I can hear the beach. Yeah, so he said that sunflowers are an absolute menace to combine. They get everywhere. They're really, really oily. They get over everything. The oil is really, really sticky as well. You have all sorts of problems, and fire is a major, major risk. It is a risky crop to harvest. It can be really difficult. It can really test the machinery, makes everything absolutely filthy. It sounded absolutely fantastic. When I do something, or when I used to do jobs, I used to quite like a challenge. I used to I used to like something that was a bit different for harvesting, and he said you had to keep stopping to unclog the sunflower headers. Yeah, it sounded like it was a lot of work to do sunflowers. It also sounded like it was something that I'd probably quite enjoy. I was one of those ones that always really enjoyed the difficult bits. I did talk to you about harvesting peas before, and we did find that people who had learned to drive combines in other countries, particularly in the States and in Australia, they were used to running the combine quite high off the ground because they leave more stubble than we tend to do, because most places in the US and in Australia, when they're harvesting, they're not after the straw, they're just after the grain, whereas where we worked, it was the straw was nearly as important as the grain itself, because that would provide the bedding for all of the animals for the whole of the winter. So we would cut low to the ground anyway. But then when it comes to peas, you couldn't use the auto contour features on any combine. They cannot be used to do peas, because it just doesn't work, because you've got to have the header right flat on the ground. You can't even have it up a little way. It's got to be completely flat to the ground. You've got to spend the entire time watching that header like an absolute hawk for even the slightest sign of bunching up or building up, because that's a stone getting onto the header, and you've got to be really on the ball to do that. And you often found that people who'd learned to drive combines in States or in Australia just they could not cope with it. They just could not get on with harvesting peas. And more than one person who came over to work on the farm just for a season had to say, no, I really don't want to do the peas. I cannot do them. It's just too much. I can't do them. Which surprised me, actually, because I always thought that, before I did that, I always thought that, you growing up somewhere like the Australian outback, the big farms you get there. I mean, Australia, you hear about the massive farms in the States and in Canada, but Australia, I think, has got some that can really hold their own. You're talking hundreds, I know at least tens of thousands of acres each. Probably I know that there are more. There are several that are well over hundreds of thousands of acres. I'm not going to go into details on numbers. I don't know. I'm just kind of taking ballpark figures from numbers I've heard here and there in different places. But they're big farms, okay? Australia and Canada in particular are known for massive farms. And I thought, growing up in those kinds of places, where you've got these huge farms, and you're on combines all the time, you grow up with this stuff, nothing would present a problem for you. These guys must know everything there is to know about combines and all this kind of machinery. Turns out, you don't. It turns out that nobody does, okay? I know next to nothing about all sorts of different parts of agriculture, and many of you do point out the hideous mistakes that I make while I'm playing this game. And that just proves to all of you that I know next to nothing about some huge aspects of agriculture that perhaps I should know about. And then there are other bits that I've never had anything to do with, so obviously I don't know anything about them. And it turns out that people from all around the world are like that. There is no one who knows everything about everything. And yeah, it's surprising how long it can take people to learn that. It took me a long time to learn that there aren't people out there who know everything, and I always assumed that there would be. But yeah, sunflower harvesting, I think, is where I started on that. I got kind of carried away there. I do apologise. Right, I'm going to just... Actually, that's probably enough up this end. We've got enough room to turn. I'm going to go down this end and just put in another little headland down here, and then we can let this field carry on. Time to fill up that seeder as the potato planter over there. He's going to be full. And then we'll get the fertilizer spreader, and we will spread... Actually, no. I won't do that. I showed you the fertilizer spreader. We've seen it. I was talking to a chap who said that he uses a T6. He drives that regularly. And he actually uses the exact same fertilizer spinner to do his fertilizer spreading. He uses the exact same setup that I was using in this game, which is actually brilliant. That's a really cool thing to find out, that he uses exactly what I've just been driving around. That is absolutely awesome. And I think it was someone called Ben, but I'm very sorry I didn't actually write your name down. I will, if I remember, I will do that. But yeah, I have a head like a sieve, so... But anyway, it was really cool hearing that he uses the exact same setup. But I won't do that again. I'll fertilise these 2 small fields off screen, so then we can get on with the next job. So just finish this bit up here, and we'll send him on his merry up across there, and we will go and fill the potatoes. And once the potatoes are filled, I will get back to you. Well, the rye is being planted over there, and it seems to be successful because having seen people try to plant a crop that's not in the game or in the seeder previously, it just crashed it immediately. So we would probably have had a major issue already. I suppose really I should be filling this on the headland, but then we're not doing this completely accurately anyway, are we? Because if you remember, I said with potatoes, you always do the land work first. It's the same with other vegetables as well. Not all of them, just some of them, especially the ones where you heap the dirt up like this. You form the earth up over you put the potato in, and then you form the earth in a big mound over the top. Because potato plants, they don't actually grow from the root. This may surprise some of you. They're called root crops, but potato tubers don't form on the actual root itself. They form from the stem. So if you plant the potato, you then need to pile the earth above them so that there's places for these tubers to form to allow the potatoes themselves to actually develop. And right, if I let him carry on over there, and we will move this one out of the way. A little experiment that you can do if you have a small garden and you have access to some wood or some old car tyres, anything like that. I used to do it with old car tyres actually, and it works really, really well. I was quite surprised at how successful it was. As early as you can, if you have a greenhouse, get a potato or a couple of potato plants and plant them somewhere that you can move them at a later date. And you want to be planting these in January or February. Switch that one off there. I'm just going to go and get ready for... I've got to hire the Krone, and we're going to start moving that one, and then I will tell you about the potato. There we go. Here is our beasts. Our bad boys. I had to borrow a load more money so that I could actually hire it. I managed to hire these 2, but I couldn't hire the machine itself without borrowing a bit more money. So I actually borrowed 50,000. An extra 50,000, just so that we could make it all work. Look at this thing. Oh, it looks beautiful. Right. Now let's get over and have a look at this one itself. This is the machine itself. This is the Krone Big X 1100. Looks pretty good. So we got the hitch on the back and everything. Let's get into the cab and have a look. And it will default straight into the... Oh, look. As you turn, you lift up slightly so that you can see behind... Oh, that is so cool! Seriously! Look at that! Look! Sit down, stand up. Sit down, stand up. Sit down, stand up. Oh, I love it! I absolutely love it. That is brilliant. There is the passenger seat, and everything else is looking pretty good. I'm unfamiliar with what the Krone control should look like on the inside, but I'm just going to assume that is reasonably accurate. Oh! Of course. If you have a look at the controls here... Alright, excuse me a moment. Okay, sorry about that. I had a bit of a frog in my throat. Yeah, so the press Y activates the work camera, but it also starts and stops the machine. So we'll sort of figure that one out in a little while. We've got work lights. Can use a radio. Does that actually do anything? Let me just see. Ah, I see. It puts the CB radio up there, right? So what else we got? T, the safety bar. Where is the safety bar? I'm guessing that's on the outside. Let's have a look. Oh, on the front. Ah, there we go. Oh, listen to that thing. Oh, it sounds fantastic. Tank, silage tank. What's that? Ah, right, yeah, we got the tank on the side. I'm guessing that's the one that puts the additive into the silage. For those of you who don't know, when you're doing silage, you sometimes have tanks of stuff where you spray a small amount of this additive stuff into the silage. It helps it break down faster. It adds the right bacteria to the grass so that when it's locked up, it works really well. STX, what's STX? Ah, that's the tracks. Cool. Right, so you got that one, or you got twin wheels. Oh, I am torn because, yeah, well, we don't want twin wheels on the track. I think that we'll go, once we get there, you know what? I think we're going to go for tracks. I think we're going to have a tracked machine. Oh, this is awesome. Right, I need to do something. I need to actually like go and doing some work with this thing. We need to head towards the field. We're not going to be able to start doing our silage today, but we will get it down to the field so that we're ready and we can start immediately on our next episode. Right, back up a little bit further. There we go. Right, now let's come around the back and hitch you on. Bad boy. Right, no PTO on that one. Okay. Oh, I'm torn. No, I don't want... wrong button. There we go. Right. Oh, do I want... Hang on. No, wrong... That one. There. Right. Do I want... Okay. This is a bonus question that I'd like you to answer for tomorrow. Do you want me to use twin wheels or do you want me to use tracks? Okay? I'm going to let you guys decide twin wheels or tracks. It's your vote. It's your game. This is a bonus question just for today only. Tell me which one you want me to use. For now, I'm going to stick with tracks because the twin wheel is going to be a bit bulky going down the road. This thing is so fantastic. I love this machine. I genuinely love this machine. This is brilliant. Right. And being able to sort of get up a bit like that, I can see the trailer a little bit. Now, let's come up here. I was told that Auto Combine does work with this, but it can be a little bit difficult trying to get round the sharper corners because it doesn't turn quite so well. We'll figure that one out as we go along. Now then, I'm going to need to go out this way. I'm going to need to put more water in for the cow soon as well. We'll do some of this in cab and we'll do some of this out of cab because this thing just looks incredible. There we go. Right, so this is our first start. Let me... Oh, that is... Look at that. I love the way that the wheels are turning in. Let me just get rid of that a second. There we go. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, go. There we go. Oh, that is fantastic. Right, so we're going to move this one today. We're not doing anything else with it. And it looks like our potatoes have finished being planted over there. We've had a growth stage as well. We'll worry about that later. I'll fertilise between this episode and the next one. It's nearly the end of this episode anyway, so we need to hurry up and get along the road. Which way do I need to go, actually? I need to go left out of here and then immediately right, don't I? So let's turn our beacons on. There we go. We should really have an escort for this. If we were taking something like this along the road in real life, we would have an escort going in front because you would need to stop traffic at junctions and stuff like that. That would, yeah, no question whatsoever. You wouldn't drive something like this along a road on your own, especially smaller roads like this, because if you met a big lorry coming the other way, then both of you would have a real struggle actually being able to reverse your vehicles to a point where you could pass each other. So you would always use an escort. So we're just going to have to assume that we've got an escort going along in front, and they are clearing the road for us. Now, I realise that in different parts of the world, things do differently. I've got very little time left. We're going to drive along, and while I do, I'll tell you about those potatoes. So yes, January or February, if you have a greenhouse, it might have to be a bit later if you don't. You can do this on a patio, you can do this out on a balcony, on a in a block of flats even. Just as long as you got the outside somewhere, you don't need a lot of space. You plant the potato as early as you can, and start watering it. And when you plant the potato, you put a good bit of earth over the top. You wait until the potato is sprouted and you have got about an inch to between an inch and 2 inches of greenery showing above the ground. When you've got your inch to 2 inches of greenery showing above the ground, above the dirt, then you put, if you're doing this with tyres, it's quite easy. If you're doing it with old car tyres, you put another car tyre over the top and then you fill it with dirt. Completely fill it with earth. Level to the top. Don't tamp it down tight, just put it in, firm it, but don't tamp it tight, okay? And right, I'll tell you what, we will put the machine in the field here ready, and then next time we'll need to bring trailers. I do have a trailer down there, don't I? So I just got to bring a tractor along the road. So let's open that one up. And then wait until the plant has grown 1 inch to 2 inches above the top of the next tyre, and then put another tyre on. And do this until... Now, you need a late... Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter what potato you have. It will work for a lot of potatoes. You do this until about middle of July, maybe, and then you leave the plant. Once you got to the middle of July, you leave the plant to grow up and bush out through the rest of July and all of August. Leave it go. Just don't do anything to it. You know what? We'll just sort of hang around here, I think, rather than trying to run all the way back just now. Leave the plant until September. So it has a good couple of months being completely green, bushed out, and the rest of it, and it will probably start to die off at some point. That's normal for a potato. That's what they do. Once it starts to die off, then you can cut the plant off, and then you remove the tyres, remove all the dirt, and if it's worked properly, the entire set of tyres, or whatever it is that you've used to stack up, should be full of potatoes, because the potatoes grow out the stem, and this kind of proves that they grow out the stem. The roots don't grow up, roots always grow down. So you should, if it works correctly, get quite a lot of potatoes from one plant. Now, I did this several years ago. I actually tried it a couple times. I'm just kind of wandering around here aimlessly now. And I had 2 carrier bags full of potatoes from one lot and 3 carrier bags full of potatoes from another lot, which I thought was actually pretty good. I thought that showed that was quite successful. Although, to be fair, I did it with 5 lots, and 3 of them hardly produced anything because I didn't leave them long enough to actually grow and produce the potato. I kept adding layers too quickly. So yeah, that's a little experiment you can try if you want to, just to sort of show how potatoes do grow out of stems. My weekly question for this week is, do you want me to buy field 2 or do you want me to buy field 20? I'm going to be doing a little bit of road work, logistics and so on, to try and negotiate between the fields. I thought it'd be quite interesting if one of them was a little bit further away from the farm than we usually have. It's your vote, it's your game. Head down to the comment section down below and let me know what you think, and also let me know, ready for tomorrow, which you would prefer on that Krone up there. Do you want me to use the tracks on the front, or do you want me to use dual wheels on it? And you will need to answer fairly quickly, because I will probably be recording that early tomorrow. I'm not quite sure when, but I will give you a chance to answer before I do the recording. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this episode, please head down below and give me a like, and if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch me as well. That would be simply awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar, goodbye, and see you later.